Joining me now to break down the big stories of the day is my panel, Spectator Australia, editor of Online Flat White, Alexandra Marshall, Spectator Australia writer James McPherson, and great cartoonist with the Daily Telegraph, Warren Brown. Great to see you all. Now let's get started with what is a shocking story out of the Daily Telegraph, and one that parents around Australia are certainly concerned about, and that is this story of the rise of kids stealing cars, young kids, and filming their joyrides on TikTok. The New South Wales Police have revealed that some of these kids are as young as 14 and posting their antics under the hashtag creeping while you sleeping. Seriously, what is going on here when you have 14-year-olds stealing cars and risking their lives and posting it just to post it online? Alexandra.
Well, first of all, I'm interested in the fact that they are blaming this on a TikTok trend, this behaviour. And I'm sorry, but kids have always been, encouraged to do things they shouldn't by their peers. Let's put it that way. And TikTok is not a new phenomenon. But what we have now is all the authorities are going, how do we solve this? How can we possibly stop kids from stealing cars and bragging about it online? Punishment might be a good start. So if they are caught stealing cars, maybe there's a 6 months in juvie. I'd say send them to a military college, but we've seen the state of our military at the moment, so it's a bit woke. It might not help.
I love the military college. James.
I spent a number of years living in Townsville, and this was a common occurrence in Townsville, to the point where police seriously advised residents, leave your car keys in an easy-to-find place so that when your house is broken into by children, they'll be able to find the keys without annoying you. That was the serious advice the police gave. And everybody just accepted that this is just normal, nothing will happen. It's unbelievable that the police commissioner said you need to talk to your kids about TikTok. If your kids haven't got the 8th commandment, thou shalt not steal, talking to them about TikTok is not going to make a big difference. This is a major problem, not just in stealing cars. This is a problem where we've undermined the family unit. Yep. We've taught children the only truth that exists is your truth. Yep. And it's a bigger problem than social media. It's a major problem of morals and an agreement on values in our culture.
Well, in California, it's illegal to steal under a certain threshold, so we shouldn't be surprised this trend is kicking off.
Well, Warren, bring you in here. We've got discipline needed. We've got send the kids off to the army. I like that one. Warren, your thoughts on this?
It is, Rowan, it is grand theft auto, of course. But,
yes.
Modern cars are like a kitchen appliance. You don't even need a key anymore. You just hop in, and if you've got the key somewhere within range, you just press a button and off you go. But my answer to this is don't own a car that kids desire. My car is a 1992 Land Rover Defender Ute, and my son, he just at any time says, I don't want to get in that car, Dad. So there's no way he's going to steal it. And the wonderful thing about that is it moves at such glacial pace. I say to him, look at the countryside. You can see as we're sort of crawling along, and he gets to see more when it's broken down by the side of the road. But that's what I would suggest anyway.
Well, I was hoping, Warren, you were going to suggest maybe we should have more electric vehicles because they'd be flat, the battery would be flat, and the kid would sit there and going, how do we start this thing?
Can you imagine how disappointing that would be for the kids? They get about 5 miles down the road, they have to go and crawl into the next power station and sit there for half an hour.
Well, I thought that's the real outrage. If you're going to go joyriding during a climate crisis, at least joyride in an electric vehicle and be responsible.
Exactly. Well, speaking of which, we now learn a report, Warren, carried and you've test drove electric vehicles recently, Warren, and talked to us about them. But a report that might have surprised you by the Transport and Environment Agency predicts that because of low levels of production of e-fuels, the hydrogen fuel source being touted as the green solution will only cover 2% of the EU's vehicle fleet by 2035. This is when they're all electric vehicles, but only 2% of them will have any energy, apparently.
So sadly, in all of this, hydrogen is probably the best example of an alternative fuel, but it's so difficult to make and it's so untried and untested, and it burns really well. Look at the Hindenburg; it was full of hydrogen, not helium. So it's could be a very dangerous thing if it's not handled properly. But it's just none of this has been thought out. That's the whole thing about alternative locomotion we've got for cars. So, and particularly in Australia, we rely and we need fossil fuels. I don't care what anyone says. Electricity, hydrogen, none of that is going to be of any use to us in Australia. We are heading for something spectacularly, a crisis. We're going to see it when all of this is foisted upon us.